She'll come back begging to be with you. Just do this, old Stoic wisdom. He who is brave is free. Seneca. Stop chasing. Stop explaining. Stop waiting for closure. She expected you to crack, to spiral into self-doubt, to reach out, to hold on. But when you stand firm, calm, and silent, everything changes. When you step back, not with bitterness, but with clarity, you don't create emptiness. You create mystery, and mystery commands attention. Here's the paradox. The moment you stop seeking validation is the moment she begins to question everything. Desperation drives her away. But quiet strength that lingers in her mind. Real power isn't loud, it's grounded. It doesn't beg. It doesn't prove. It becomes. In this video, I'll walk you through the shift, the ancient mindset, the disciplined actions, and the unshakable presence that makes her realize the man she left isn't standing still. He's rising, calm, dignified, and unforgettable. 1. Disappear with dignity. Don't slam the door. Don't write a long-winded text. Don't pour your heart out trying to be understood. Be quiet. Be precise. Be gone. When a man rooted in Old Stoic wisdom walks away, he doesn't shout. He simply vanishes with poise, and that, my friend, echoes louder than 100 angry words ever could. That is disappearing with dignity. Not to punish her, not to win some childish game of emotional chess, but because you understand something deeper. Peace isn't handed to you. It's carved out by men who've mastered the art of restraint. A man with an iron mind doesn't need closure. He is the closure. You must understand. Stoic principles don't encourage coldness. They encourage control. You walk away not because you're weak, but because you're wise. It's not about teaching her a lesson. It's about showing yourself that you won't stay where you're not respected. That when your value is dismissed, you don't argue your worth. You embody it and remove yourself. Let her feel the absence of your calm presence. Let her stew in the silence that once held her chaos together. That's not pettiness. That's power. Be the man who doesn't beg for peace. Be the man who builds it like a fortress and defends it like a soldier. If she took you for granted, overlooked your depth, or disrespected your loyalty, your move is simple vanish, not with fury, but with unshakable stillness. The kind of stillness that only comes from an iron mind trained in the old Stoic wisdom of warriors and emperors. Marcus Aurelius didn't scribble in his journal for revenge. He wrote to master himself. And mastery begins when you stop seeking external validation and start honoring your own code. Don't react. Don't explain. That's what the world expects. Be the exception. Your restraint will haunt her more than your retaliation ever could. Because when you walk away like a man who knows he gave his best, didn't chase, didn't beg, didn't plead, that's when your silence becomes a thunderclap. She'll sit with questions you never answered. She'll replay the calm in your exit. She'll remember that you didn't need to raise your voice to make your point. You were the point. That's the beauty of disappearing with dignity. It's not loud. It's legendary. You didn't leave in bitterness. You left in honor. No burned bridges, no theatrics. Just a man who knows the difference between proving his worth and moving with worth. That is what Stoic principles are all about. Choosing peace over pride, clarity over chaos. And if one day she comes back, curious, regretful, wondering why you let go so gently, you'll smile, because you'll know it wasn't silence out of weakness. It was wisdom born from pain, the kind only Old Stoic wisdom can teach, the kind that makes a man untouchable. So remember this, if she ever made you question your place, your worth, or your peace, don't argue, don't explain, don't justify, just disappear with dignity. Because real men don't chase chaos. They walk away and let it miss them. That's not a retreat. That's reign. And that, brother, is how you become unforgettable. 2. Upgrade in silence. Don't announce, don't post, don't explain, just become. That's the play. When you're working on yourself, not for the world, not for her, not for validation, but for you. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You follow the Stoic rules, move with purpose, speak with action, and grow like a tree, roots deep, branches high, and not a word until the fruit appears. Real transformation doesn't need an audience. It needs discipline. It needs grit. It needs silence. Be the man who sharpens himself in solitude. Start waking up early. Eat like you respect your body. Read the books you once said you didn't have time for. Hit the gym. Meditate. Clean your space. Guard your energy like it's gold. You're not doing it to impress her. You're doing it because you finally remembered who the hell you are. The world doesn't need a press release every time you change a habit. Let them think you're the same. Let them whisper. Because when the change finally surfaces, it won't be subtle. It'll be undeniable. That's the core of practical Stoicism. You don't preach, you live it. As Epictetus wisely said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. That means walking the walk when no one is clapping. It means building habits in the dark so that when the light finds you, you're already unshakable. When you're rooted in Stoic rules, you stop seeking outside approval. You stop proving. You start becoming and becoming. My friend, is a private war, a war of routine, of mindset, of endurance. Let her wonder what happened. Let her scroll through old photos, asking herself when you became so damn composed, so focused, so out of reach. That's what upgrading in silence does. It doesn't shout, "Look at me now." It just shows up as a man she no longer recognizes, a man who outgrew her memory. And that realization, that'll hit her harder than any argument or closure talk ever could. Don't chase closure. Be the closure. Don't explain your glow up. Let her feel it. That's the weapon of a man following Stoic rules, not revenge, but relentless self-improvement without a word. No theatrics, no revenge selfies, no "look what you're missing" posts. Just clean moves, focused days, and the kind of peace that screams louder than noise ever could. Understand this. People used to your old self will misunderstand your silence. Let them. Practical Stoicism teaches you to keep your power to yourself. Don't waste it on proving points. Use it to rebuild your temple, brick by brick, habit by habit, day by day, until one morning you wake up and everything they doubted you'd become, you already are. So disappear into your grind, love your silence, train in it, heal in it. And when you finally return, don't say a word. Let your life speak. Let your presence be proof. That is how you upgrade in silence, and that is how she'll come back, not to the man you were, but the man you became without her ever seeing it coming. If this message speaks to you, hit that like button, share it with a brother who needs this, and don't forget to subscribe for more timeless wisdom rooted in Stoic rules and practical Stoicism. Comment to remember, I grow in silence, I evolve for me. Let them wonder. You're not here to be seen. You're here to become. 3. Protect your energy, like it's gold. Protect your energy like it's the most valuable treasure you own, because it is, in the paths of wisdom. Epictetus taught us that the key to strength is not controlling others, but mastering ourselves. Let that sink in. Your time, your attention, your presence. They are not free giveaways for anyone who asks. Stop pouring gold into hands that toss it away like scrap. Stop offering your loyalty, your soul, your light to people who don't see your worth. You must understand this when a woman walks away, when anyone does. It's not always about you. It's often about them. And your power lies in not chasing, not explaining, not convincing. Your power lies in stoicism, in silence, in discipline, in walking your path with unshakable focus. Let them go. Let them feel your absence. Let them wonder how they lost a man so grounded, so composed, so unbreakable. Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems, said Epictetus. That means cut the noise, control your inner world, redirect your energy where it matters. You must be ruthless with your peace, not bitter, just precise. Don't debate your worth. Don't justify your silence. Don't beg for attention. Instead, become undeniable. Build yourself. Train your mind. Strengthen your body. Stack your victories brick by brick, day by day. Women are drawn to gravity, so become a mountain, unmoved, unshaken, self-possessed. That's the path of the Old Stoic. That's how Stoicism wins. Your energy is not public property. It's sacred territory. Guard it. Protect it with steel walls. Let your presence become a reward, not a default. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's not a suggestion. It's an order. You must reclaim your mind, reclaim your focus. If someone drains you, distracts you, diminishes you, they don't belong. Walk away, not to punish, but to protect, not to prove a point, but to preserve your essence. In a world addicted to validation, Stoic men are rare. Be rare. In a society that glorifies noise, silence is your weapon. In relationships where emotions run wild, stillness is your advantage. Don't chase, don't react, don't over-explain. Lead, command, set the tone. This is your edge. This is how you get her to come back, not through weakness, but by becoming the man no one can ignore. Remember this, your energy creates your world. If you waste it, you lose. If you master it, you win. If you guard it, you attract those who truly value it. You don't need revenge. You don't need explanations. You need clarity. You need direction. You need to walk the paths of wisdom with fire in your chest and calm in your mind. Let go of what drains you. Say no without guilt. Set boundaries like a king protects his throne. She'll feel your absence. She'll remember your presence. She'll come back, but only if you stop waiting, stop hoping, start rising, become the man you were born to be. That is how Stoicism wins. That is how legends are made. That is how you master life. 4. Let her feel the emptiness, and let that be enough. Don't rush to fill the void. Don't scramble to patch the silence she left behind. Be still, be silent. That isn't punishment. That's power. You're not being cold. You're honouring yourself. You're not sulking in the shadows. You're standing in your own light. When she walked away, she might have expected the fireworks, the desperation, the pleading, the late-night texts. But instead, let her find only quiet. A man living, breathing, walking forward with calm in his chest and steel in his spine. That stillness is not weakness. It's command. That silence isn't empty. It's full of meaning. Let her feel the contrast. Because old Stoic wisdom teaches us when you remove yourself with dignity, the world notices, especially those who once took you for granted. You see, every time you chase, you whisper to her subconscious, "You can have me whenever you want." You train her to believe your love is endless, without limits, without edge. But that's not love, that's surrender. And men with an iron mind don't beg. They don't chase what runs. They don't bargain with respect. They stand still, and in that stillness, they draw lines in the sand that say, "This is who I am." I don't collapse just because someone left the room. That's the core of Stoic principles. You must resist the urge to soothe the discomfort. You must let the discomfort do its job. You must allow the silence to echo, not just in her ears, but in her conscience. Because here's the thing, she won't come back, because you begged. She'll come back when she feels the sharp contrast between your presence and your absence. She'll remember the warmth, the steadiness, the man with the iron mind who didn't fall apart. That difference in between neediness and composure is what shakes her. Not a flood of calls, not a dozen apologies, but a man who walks away with his shoulders square and his soul intact. That is rare. That is magnetic. That is what old Stoic wisdom teaches. Don't teach her she's your source of life. Teach her you are alive, with or without her. Let your world breathe without her. Don't fill your days with noise just to drown out the ache. Feel the ache, respect the ache, but don't act on it. Do not beg to be where you are not honoured. You must embrace the truth that sometimes silence says everything. Sometimes holding the line is louder than screaming across it. Let her sit in that quiet. Let her feel the absence, not as a void, but as a space where your value used to stand. Let her see that her leaving didn't destroy you. It revealed you, because the man who follows Stoic principles knows reactions are easy. Restraint is rare. So be rare. Be the man who didn't fill the space. Be the one who stood still with grace and let her come face to face with what she truly walked away from. Be the calm in the storm, not the chaos chasing her car. And above all, let her feel it. Every ounce of what she gave up when she thought you'd come crawling. Don't, never crawl, walk, stand, breathe, and let old Stoic wisdom do its work. In time, it speaks louder than words ever could. If you're tired of chasing and ready to reclaim your power, stand still and let silence speak for you. And if that hits home, drop this in the comments right now. My silence is strength, not surrender. Like this video, subscribe for more timeless Stoic wisdom. And remember, you don't win her back by reaching out. You win her back by rising up. 5. Stay unavailable, but not bitter. Don't confuse silence for pettiness. Don't mistake composure for a cold heart. You're not ghosting her. You're guarding your gate. You're not playing games. You're setting the standard. That is practical stoicism in motion. Quiet strength that refuses to audition for someone who already walked out on the performance. You're not hard to get. You've just raised the price of entry. And no, that's not ego talking. That's clarity. That's the cost of peace. Because once you've been burned by carelessness, you stop handing matches to people who play with fire. You've seen what happens when you give too much access to someone who hasn't earned it. So now, you've pulled back, not in anger, but in awareness. That's not distance, that's discipline. There's a mighty difference between emotional unavailability and emotional mastery. A man living by Stoic rules knows this being selective isn't selfish, it's survival. You're not closing your heart, you're securing your peace. And that peace, it's sacred. No one gets to disturb it just because they're used to having a key. You see, the old Stoics didn't just preach detachment, they practiced direction. You're not floating away, you're steering your ship. You've stopped placing your happiness in hands that drop things. You're no longer offering your time, your presence, your soul to anyone who doesn't know how to hold it with care. That's not bitterness, that's wisdom. That's the very heart of practical stoicism, to live with intention, not impulse. Marcus Aurelius nailed it. Avoid becoming what you hate. So don't let rejection rot into resentment. Don't let disappointment deform your dignity. Bitterness. That's a poison you drink hoping she feels it. But all it does is corrode you from the inside out. Rejection stings. Yes, but bitterness scars. And you're not here to carry wounds like trophies. You're here to grow and to elevate, to evolve. Be better. Not in comparison, but in composure. Don't spit venom. Speak nothing at all if it protects your peace. That silence, that absence, it's your highest form of self-respect. A man who follows Stoic rules doesn't chase. He calibrates. He doesn't beg. He builds. And he never confuses solitude with suffering. Let her wonder. Let her notice. Not because you vanished into bitterness, but because you emerged into balance. Be the man who holds space, not grudges. Be the one who walks away not to punish, but to preserve. That is the mark of a man forged by fire, tempered by wisdom, and anchored in practical stoicism. Don't shut down. Shut the door. Don't lash out. Level up. You must choose clarity over chaos, peace over performance, and self-worth over second chances that look like first mistakes. In the end, she may come back, and if she does, she won't find the same man waiting. She'll find someone wiser, sharper, stronger. A man who no longer lowers himself for love, but elevates love by how he carries himself. That is the essence of discipline without bitterness. That is the quiet power of Stoic rules lived, not just learned. And that, my friend, is how you win. Not by playing games, but by playing the long game. 6. Level up your environment. Don't beg. Don't chase. Don't wait. Win. That's what the old Stoics knew, and that's what you must embrace. If you want her to come back, if you want her to regret ever walking away, you don't convince her with words. You make her feel your absence through transformation. Real, powerful, undeniable transformation, and it begins with your environment, your room, your routines, your circle. Everything around you must reflect the man you are becoming, not the man you were. That's how you win. That's how you walk the paths of wisdom. As Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. It starts now. Strip away the chaos. Eliminate the weak habits. Throw out the clutter, not just the trash in your room, but the distractions in your mind. The old version of you has to die in silence before the new one can walk with strength. She'll see it. But more importantly, you'll feel it. And that's everything. Your environment isn't just background. It's your battlefield. It's your silent coach. It whispers victory or defeat before you even move. The Stoicism win is forged not in grand gestures, but in small, disciplined actions repeated until they define your identity. Your room is your kingdom. Make it sharp. Make it sacred. You don't sit in filth and expect to feel like a conqueror. That's weakness disguised as comfort. Marcus Aurelius, emperor and philosopher, didn't just preach about virtue. He lived surrounded by discipline, order, and clarity. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. That is your mission. Raise your standards, sharpen your space, uplift your energy. You must, because when your environment levels up, your soul follows, your decisions shift. You start walking the paths of wisdom, and you never walk them the same again. Don't tolerate what weakens you. Don't associate with men who drag you down. Don't waste hours in front of screens or wrapped in distractions that bring no growth. Replace those habits. Kill them if you must. A man of Stoicism win doesn't flinch. He cuts off what doesn't serve him, clean, fast, and forever. And that includes the people. Upgrade your circle. If the men around you aren't challenging you, building you, making you better, walk away. Be ruthless with your space, your time, your focus. This is about control. This is about reclaiming your throne. You've given too much of your power away. Take it back, by force if necessary. That's how Epictetus rose. As a slave who became a philosopher. That's how you rise, as a man who owns his world again. Let your space speak for you. Let it say the old me is gone. Let it echo strength, calm, and clarity. She'll sense it. She'll feel the shift, but you won't need her to say anything, because you'll already have won. That's the ultimate power. Not waiting, not hoping, but transforming. Quietly, ferociously, relentlessly. Your room, your habits, your people, they are mirrors. Clean them, sharpen them, make them reflect a man worthy of everything he desires. The paths of wisdom are not loud, they are not desperate, they are silent, sharp, and victorious. Walk them with your head high and your space in order. Then, and only then, will she come back. Not because you begged, but because you became undeniable. If you found this valuable, like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and make sure to subscribe for more Stoic wisdom that transforms lives. Comment to remember, I create an environment that reflects my greatness. Let's see those affirmations in the comments. Your environment shapes your future. Let it work for you. 7. Let go of needing closure. Don't wait for her to come back and explain why she left. If she walked away without a word, that silence was the explanation. Be smart enough and strong enough not to chase a ghost through the halls of your past. You must understand this. You don't need her permission to heal, and you sure as hell don't need her goodbye to move on. That kind of waiting. It's a trap, an emotional quicksand, and the longer you stand still in it, hoping she'll toss you a rope of closure, the deeper you'll sink. Remember what the old Stoic wisdom teaches: peace comes not from external words, but from internal mastery. If you're holding your breath for her return, you're not breathing life into yourself. Seneca said it best: he who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than necessary. Stop rehearsing pain that hasn't even happened, or worse, reliving pain that's already played out. That's not strength. That's a form of self-inflicted punishment. Don't do it. Don't wait by the door she closed behind her. That door doesn't open anymore. Not the way you need it to. Be the man who doesn't just survive heartbreak, but uses it to forge an iron mind. Be the storm she underestimated. Let your silence become louder than her absence. That is where power is reborn. And make no mistake, power is attractive, not the needy clinging to answers, but the quiet force of a man who writes his own endings. You want closure. Good. Then be the closure. Stop chasing words you'll never hear and start building the life you were too distracted to live. A man guided by Stoic principles doesn't wait for peace. He creates it. That's the path. That's the work. Don't look at her social media. Don't replay the last conversation. Don't beg the universe to make her realize what she lost. The universe is watching to see if you realize what you've gained your own self-respect. That's the closure that matters. And believe this. If she ever comes back, it'll be because she sees the man you've become without her. But by then, you won't need her validation. You'll be too busy walking forward, anchored in discipline, radiating calm, ruled by an iron mind and a soul unshaken by storms. Don't let your identity get tangled up in the knots she left behind. Be the man who untangles them in silence and moves like a force of nature. That's the old Stoic wisdom. Don't demand from others what you can cultivate within. You wanted answers. Now you've got one she left. Let that be enough. Anything more is a bonus, not a requirement. Closure isn't something she gives you. It's something you claim by refusing to let her departure define you. Use this silence like fuel. Turn it into focus. Rebuild your habits. Sharpen your purpose. Do the work. Become unshakable. Then, and only then, will you understand what real closure feels like. Not a conversation, not a text, but standing alone with your chin up, calm in your chest, and fire in your eyes. That's Stoic strength. That's an iron mind at work. And that, my friend, is how you make her regret ever thinking she could leave you and never look back. 8. Build an aura of calm power. Don't react. Don't chase. Don't perform. This isn't theatre, and you're not auditioning for her affection. When she pulls away, let her. When she tests your silence, pass with flying colours. That's practical stoicism in action. You must be the man who remains composed, not because you're pretending, but because you're rooted, deep, grounded, solid. There's no drama in you, no panic, no frantic energy begging to be seen. That is strength. That is control. That is how you build an aura of calm power that draws her back, not through words, but through presence. A presence that says, I don't chase, I attract. You see, women test not because they're cruel, but because they crave the reassurance of your center. She pushes to see if you'll wobble. She withdraws to see if you'll collapse. She wants to know if your calm depends on her chaos. Don't give her that kind of power. Be the still lake, not the crashing wave. Still waters they reflect. They go deep, and they don't need to shout to be powerful. Let your energy whisper, I'm fine. Whether you're here or not. Marcus Aurelius, the father of Stoic rules, nailed it when he said, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. Translation. It's not her actions that hurt, it's your interpretation. You suffer because you think you've lost something essential. You haven't. What you've lost is the illusion that her attention equals your worth. Good. Let that illusion burn. From the ashes, build something far more dangerous, your emotional independence. That is where true practical stoicism begins. Don't seek her validation. Don't beg for reassurance. Don't post cryptic quotes hoping she'll read between the lines. You must be above that. Your peace isn't up for negotiation. It doesn't come from her texts, her moods, or her attention. It comes from you. Discipline, focus, stillness. When you stop reacting, she starts wondering. When you don't flinch, she starts remembering. And when you embody silence with depth, not coldness, but composure, your calm becomes magnetic. She'll lean in, she'll chase, and she won't even know why. That's the power of Stoic rules. This isn't about revenge. It's not about making her jealous. It's about mastering yourself so completely that her presence becomes optional, not essential. Be the man who knows how to sit with discomfort without lashing out. Be the one who can hold silence like a sword, not as a weapon, but as a boundary. That's how kings move. That's how warriors rest. You don't flail, you don't beg. You breathe, you stand, and you keep building. Quietly, relentlessly. Understand this. Your calm isn't weakness. It's restraint. It's the roar you don't need to release. And in a world of men who panic, who rant, who fall apart at the first hint of rejection, your stillness becomes seductive. That is practical stoicism. That is how you turn a woman's doubt into desire. She'll come back not because you demanded it, but because your silence reminded her what real strength looks like. So build it. Practice it. Own it. Be the storm in disguise, because the moment you stop reacting to her is the moment she starts reacting to you. If you've made it this far, understand this true strength is silent, unshaken, and deeply rooted. You don't chase. You don't react. You radiate calm power, and that alone draws everything toward you. Comment below, I am the still lake, unshaken, unmoved, magnetic. This is the first step to reclaiming your inner power. Let the world adjust to your silence. 9. Show her you've outgrown her old version. She walked away from a man she thought she knew. Good. Let her remember him, because that man is gone. The man you are now stands taller, walks straighter, speaks less, and means more. You don't have to explain anything. You don't have to chase. Your presence speaks louder than any words. It radiates strength, purpose, and transformation. You're not trying to impress her. You're not trying to win her back. You've already won yourself. That is your victory. That is the ultimate stoicism win. As Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. You've done just that. You've walked the paths of wisdom. You've grown in silence. You've trained your mind to lead, not follow. You've stopped reacting and started responding. That quiet strength. That's what she feels now. That's what shocks her. It's not because you played a game. It's because you mastered yourself. That's stoic power. That's masculine authority. That's evolution. She doesn't recognize you now. Good. That's the point. She doesn't know how to talk to this version of you because she never expected you to become him. You were supposed to wait. You were supposed to chase. You were supposed to cry, to beg, to break. But you didn't. You disappeared into the shadows and rebuilt. You didn't do it for her. You did it for you. Let that truth hit her like thunder. Let her see what a man becomes when he chooses growth over grief, when he embraces the ancient lessons of Stoicism, win over emotional chaos. He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior, said Confucius. And you have, that self-mastery is rare. It's unforgettable. It doesn't scream. It doesn't plead. It simply exists and commands. Don't try to explain. Don't try to prove. Don't try to make her understand. Let her sit in that confusion. Let her feel the cold truth you've outgrown her old version. She stayed still. You evolved. She played checkers. You studied chess. She entertained comfort. You endured pressure. Now, your silence is sharper than any insult. Your eyes say everything I'm not him anymore. That is power. That is a stoic victory. That is the strength built only through the paths of wisdom. Don't soften it. Don't dim it. Own it. That energy draws her in now, not because she's curious, but because she regrets it. And you don't need her validation. You don't need her return. Because once you walk the stoic path, once you breathe in the principles of Epictetus, once you embrace the timeless calm of true masculinity, there's no going back. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca once wrote, and now, she's the one suffering, imagining what it would be like to be near you again. But you don't reach back. You rise, you lead, you build. That is the path. That is the win. So let her come back. Or don't. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you became the man you were meant to be. You've stepped into the fire of rejection and came out forged like steel. Stand on that ground. Be immovable. Be absolute. Be the one who chose self-respect over desperation. The one who followed the paths of wisdom, not emotion. The one who mastered himself through the teachings of Epictetus and came out unshakable. That's what she'll feel. That's what she'll chase. But by then, you'll have already moved forward. You'll already be living the Stoicism win. And nothing can take that away from you. 10. Let her chase the man you've become. Don't chase her. Become the man she can't ignore. That's the power of old Stoic wisdom, the kind carved into the bones of real men who stopped begging for affection and started building an iron mind. You see, it's not about convincing her to stay or come back. It's about becoming so rooted in purpose, so fierce in your discipline, that she feels the gravitational pull of your transformation. You're not the same man who once tried to prove his worth with desperate words or clumsy gestures. No. You've turned that noise inward. You've sharpened your focus, tightened your circle, and lit a fire under your own ambitions. That's what makes you magnetic. Not your words, but your evolution. Women don't chase noise. They chase power. Not the kind that puffs out its chest, but the kind that sits silently, calmly, confidently, because it knows what it brings to the table. Old Stoic wisdom tells us, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. That's not poetry, that's a blueprint. You looked yourself in the mirror, called out your own weaknesses, and then got to work. You made peace with the silence. You stopped reacting. That was your moment. That's when you became untouchable. While she wondered, you acted. While she played games, you built something real, your body, your mind, your mission. So now what now? You let her chase. Because the man you've become, he doesn't beg, he doesn't plead, he doesn't get rattled by unread messages or passive-aggressive silence. He understands that every ounce of attention wasted on trying to win someone back is energy stolen from the mission. And the mission is everything. That's the Stoic way. That's what it means to live by Stoic principles. To rise every day not in reaction, but with intention. You've stopped being a prisoner to her mood swings or her confusion. You've built an iron mind, one that refuses to crumble under emotional weight. Let her see that. Let her witness the man who no longer flinches, the man who no longer needs validation. That's the plot twist she didn't see coming. When you glow from within, when your life speaks louder than your mouth ever could, you become irresistible. Not because you're trying, but because you're thriving. She'll come back. She'll try to understand how you turned that pain into fuel, that silence into strength. And if she does, let her work for it. Let her earn a place beside the man you've become. Because old Stoic wisdom says you don't chase love, you become someone worth loving, and let love chase you. This isn't about revenge. It's about rebirth. Be unshakable. Be quiet in your power. Let your growth speak. You're not who you were. And that's the whole point. Be the man who made peace with letting go, and in doing so, became the kind of man no one wants to lose. That's not arrogance. That's truth. That's the fire of Stoic principles burning in your chest. Let her chase that flame. If you found this powerful, like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more ancient wisdom made real. Comment to remember, I don't chase, I evolve and attract. Let your growth speak louder than your words. 11. Remember you are the prize. Gentlemen, let's get something straight. You are not some forgotten item on a dusty shelf waiting to be picked. You're not a puppy at the pound, hoping she changes her mind. You are the prize. Let that sink in. Say it out loud if you must. You are the prize. She left fine. Let her go. Don't chase. Don't beg. Don't spiral into a frenzy of what-ifs and where did I go wrong? You don't lead with panic. You lead with presence. This is where practical stoicism kicks in, not as an abstract philosophy, but as a battle-tested way of life. You lead with peace, not pursuit. You anchor yourself like a mountain, not drift like a feather. That's not passive. That's power. Don't ask, why didn't she choose me? That question is poison. It turns kings into servants. Instead, ask yourself the question that shakes the heavens. Am I showing up as the man I'm proud to be? That is the real game. That's where your energy must go. You don't need her validation. You need your own respect. When you walk in alignment with your values, When you live by Stoic rules, everything changes. She may come back, she may not, but either way, you win. There's a scene in the old Spartan tales. After battle, the soldier doesn't count his wounds. He sharpens his sword, he prepares, he reflects, he grows. That's what you must do now. You don't sulk in the ashes of what used to be. You rebuild. You become a fortress. You become a man she no longer recognizes because the man she walked away from is gone. In his place stands someone greater. Let me be clear. This isn't about pretending you don't care. This isn't about playing cold or trying to make her jealous. No, that's a boy's game. This is about realizing that you were never lacking. You just forgot who you were. And now, you remember. You remember that you don't wait to be chosen. You choose. You choose your habits, your growth, your peace, your direction. Epictetus, a true master of Stoic rules, once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." So ask yourself, are you mastering your emotions, or are your emotions mastering you? Practical Stoicism teaches you to hold your center when the storm hits. When she walks away, your identity doesn't crumble. It sharpens. That's the difference between a man who watches his life fall apart and a man who builds something stronger from the rubble. Don't text her a paragraph. Don't scroll her social media like a teenager with a crush. Don't fantasize about fixing it. Instead, fix yourself, upgrade your health, reinforce your discipline, reinvent your direction, make silence your sword. Because here's the twist, the moment you stop needing her is the moment she starts feeling your absence. That's the paradox of power. That's the magic of self-respect. She'll come back, not because you chased, but because you didn't, because you stopped orbiting her world and built your own. And that world is magnetic. It's made of quiet strength, clear boundaries, steady hands, unshakable energy. That's practical Stoicism in motion, not just thinking about power, living it, breathing it, embodying it. And if she doesn't come back, even better. That just means the universe cleared space for someone better aligned with the man you're becoming. Either way, you win, because you never bet your worth on her affection. You bet it on your growth, and that's a bet you never lose. So remember this. Don't beg, don't break, don't chase. Be the prize, sharpen your edge, walk your path, live the Stoic rules daily, not as a tactic, but as a truth. When you do that, everything else will fall into place, or fall away, and both are blessings. That's ancient art. That's the modern edge. That's how she comes back, and that's how you never need her to. All right, my friend, thanks for sticking around. If anything I said hit home for you, take it seriously. Remember, chasing rarely gets you what you truly want, but walking in strength, grounded like the Stoics taught us, that brings the right people back, and the wrong ones fade away. Here's my advice. Stop chasing. Stand tall. Work on yourself. She'll notice. And more importantly, you will feel that shift inside. That's real power. If any of this resonated, drop a comment or just type, "I choose power over pursuit." And if you're ready for the next level, the next chapter is waiting. Take care, stay grounded, and I'll see you in the next one.